What's good, everybody? It's your boy Matthew Maley from MatthewMaley.com. Back with another video, another World Series of Poker event recap video. This one was for the 1K tournament that I played on Sunday, which I apologize I didn't do a video that night. I know I did the one in the morning that hopefully you guys were able to check out, and I appreciate, again, let me just say that I really appreciate everybody who's been giving me all support. You guys know how big of a dream this really is for me, and so I can't tell y'all how much I really do appreciate that. So shout out to everybody. But I do apologize I wasn't able to get the video up last night. Once I got busted out, I hung around the World Series for about another hour or two just chilling. Then came back to my room, decided I was going to treat myself to a very nice dinner over at Aquinox, which, as y'all know, that's my spot when it comes to steak, over at the Venetian. And then that turned into chilling with my boy DJ Nino until 2, which then turned into, well, we don't want to go to bed, so let's go do something else. And that something else just so happened to be the Spearmint Rhino for the next 6 hours, I guess. And I didn't get back to my room until 8 o'clock this morning. And between the Patron and the very little sleep I got the night before, there was no way I was doing another video that night. So I do apologize. I know a lot of people hit me up, asking about how the tournament went, because I didn't put a video up. So I do apologize, especially for anybody who got their hopes up thinking that meant I made it to the second day. But I ended up getting into the tournament, as you know from the morning video. I got to the tournament a little bit late. By the time I stood in line forever, I was able to buy in about 30 minutes late. So I missed about half the level, but it wasn't too bad. Start with 3,000 chips. Blinds were 25-25, and literally as soon as I was walking up to the table, I was already I wasn't scared or anything. But seat 8 had a mountain of chips, and as I'm walking up, he's cracking somebody's set of kings with his set of aces, which he then proceeds 6 hands later to get another set of aces against a pair of kings. And it was pretty ridiculous, to be quite honest. Hold on, my TV just decided it wanted to turn on, so let's turn the volume down here. I'm about to watch a movie, so it keeps unpausing when I'm trying to film this damn thing. All right, sorry about that. Let's go back here. Much better. So seat 8 was pretty massively stacked, but I ended up, I was playing a lot better poker. A lot better in the 1K than I was in the 1500. Way better poker. I ended up pulling a couple just small hands, nothing big, just grinding it out, really. A lot of just raising pre-flop, taking down the blinds and antes, raising pre-flop, getting a caller, standard continuation bet, taking it down, raising pre-flop, getting a caller, floating the flop, buying it on the turn, a lot of stuff like that. I really didn't have to have any showdowns. So I ended up building my pot to about 4,500. And which point I picked up King 6 in middle position. And, you got to vary your position. You got to vary your plays. You just have to in a tournament like that. You sit around waiting for aces or kings, unless you're running like seat 8, it's just not going to happen. So I ended up picking up King 6 of clubs, ended up calling. Comes around to the seat 8, who ends up raising to 125. Blinds were 25-25 at this point. I'm sorry, blinds were 25-50. He raised to 150. So I made the call. It was 2 other people in the pot. Flop comes out 6-4 deuce. Because if he had a tray 5, I would have been in trouble. I checked to him. He bets 300. Other 2 people fold. I call. At this point, unless an ace or a king, unless an ace or like a queen hit, I feel I have this hand. I really feel he was making the play with like a hand like ace 10, maybe ace jack, and I feel great about my 6, to be quite honest. And something just clicked, and I just felt it, and I felt that I really was sitting well. And so in my mind, I'd already decided, unless an ace, queen, jack, maybe 10 hits, I'm sticking with this hand. So I call his bet. Turn card comes out a 7. So opens up a couple more, possibilities. But again, I check to him, and I'm just letting him bet it. I know he's hella aggressive. He's hyper aggressive. So I check to him. He again bets. This time he bets like 500, 525. I call again. And there's no there's no flush draw. Obviously, there's, tray 5 is out there, or a 5-8 could also give him a straight at this point. But I don't feel that at all. I just, how he's playing it, I really feel like I've got this hand. So, end up, river card comes out a 10. Now that did scare me a little bit, and I missed out on some money, honestly. Well, maybe not. He probably wouldn't have called anyway. It was just ace high, because he didn't bet at it anyway. So I checked to him, and he ends up checking behind, and I roll over the 6. And everybody at the table was impressed that I was able to just call that down with the 6, which I didn't think it was even that impressive of a call, personally. I just thought it's kind of a standard play. I hit top pair on the flop, called it. Turn card came, didn't really scare me by what he would have raised pre-flop with. And I figured if he had a pair of pocket 7s or any other set, well, then I was screwed, whatever. So a few hands after that, that was a huge pop for me. That built me up pretty high. I ended up getting up to about 89.50 was my high that I got in the tournament. Maybe I guess a 92.50. I don't remember. I got to go relook at my Twitter feed. But I ended up getting up to about that, and then I pick up pocket 8s in middle position. And I've been playing all my pocket pairs other than, the upper echelon, the aces, kings, queens, jacks, 10s. I've been playing them very, very, very passively. I've been playing them low ball. Very, very small ball poker, calling the blind, maybe raising depending on my position, but most of the time I'm just calling the blind and hoping to either spike my set and get, tripled up, or getting a good flop that I can bet him at. So ends up 2 other people call, comes around to the guy who was in the small blind. He ends up raising it, and blinds were 75 150 at this point. No, I'm sorry, they're 5100. He raised it to 4 1/4, and I call. And when I first made the call, I knew he had an ace. I just didn't know exactly what I put him on. Just how he'd been playing. I knew he had an ace. So, excuse me. Anyway, I knew he had an ace. Wow, I've never had a sneeze in one of my videos before. That's weird. And really, if an ace didn't hit, I felt good about the hand. I was playing to hit my set and take him out. He had just a little bit, like probably 4,200 chips when he started. But he had been playing in a way that made it seem like he was ready to just jam. So I pretty much decided, unless I hit an 8 or something else that I can really bet at, I'm getting out of this hand. So the flop comes up, Jack 10-9, rainbow. He insta snaps it off, just shove. Wow, I'm all in. So that puts me in a very precarious position, because if my read of ace jack was on, then I'm drawing to 2 cards. Well, sorry, I'm drawing to 10 cards with my straight draw. If he's sitting on a set, I'm still drawing to, then I'm only drawing to 8. Well, yeah, then I'm drawing to 8 cards because he'd have a better set than me. If he's sitting there with king, queen, I'm pretty much drawing dead. I need runner help. So I thought about it for a while, and I'm the type of person, when I'm trying to go through, when the wheels are spinning in my head, I speak it out loud. And as I'm talking, I'm kind of watching how he's reacting to what I'm saying. And I'm just going through it, and I'm saying, okay, well, if he's got this, and I've got 4, 6, okay, I've got these outs, and I'm just going through it. I'm just letting the wheels turn. And how he's looking, he's starting to involuntarily look a little scared, to be quite honest. So I decided he's on ace-king, and I look him dead in the whites of his eyes, and I say, you have ace-king. I call. And sure enough, he had ace-king. So all I need to do is fade an ace, a king, now a queen, and I'm good. Third card comes out of 10. Now that's a bad card. Anybody who knows poker, now the board just paired, which means I could get counterfeited if another jack comes up, another 10 comes up, another 9 comes up. I'm sorry, no, not a 10. If now I'm having to fade an ace, a king, a queen, a jack, and a 9. That's a lot of outs to fade. And sure enough, river card hit the ace. So at least I didn't get counterfeited, which would have really sucked. But regardless, I lost a hand. And that hurt me. That was a big hand. So that dropped me down to like four grand. Literally, probably 2-3 hands later, I pick up pocket 6s. And it was in the small blind. And the guy sitting directly to my right, in my big blind, or in the big blind when I'm in the small blind, he was a solid player, and I believe he is a pro. I'm not sure, but I believe he is. But for some reason, through the first 3 rounds, I was getting him to muck damn near every single time I would raise. It seemed like I wasn't getting shit for cards, but it seemed like every time I would pick up a hand, it would be up against this guy, and I was in the small blind, he'd be in the big blind, and I would raise him out of the pot every time. So I ended up picking up pocket sixes, and I again raise. He re-raises me pre-flop. I, in my mind, am thinking he's just trying to get me out of this hand. He's just trying to buy me out of this, whatever. So I call. Now, the flop comes up, queen, I think it was queen 5-4. And I'm not feeling great, but I'm knowing that I got to figure out where I'm at. And the only way to do that is by betting. Because if I check to him and he bets, and then I raise, and he comes over the top, I'm going to be committed. I'm going to have to play it. So I'm figuring, you know what, I'm going to seize control of this hand. I'm going to bet. So I lead out. I lead out for about 3/4 of the pot. You know, about a standard continuation bet if I would have been the one who raised. Pretty much saying, I've got ace queen, get the hell off, whatever. So he thinks about it for a while, and then ends up raising a plus like 1,500, which essentially was putting me all in because he started the hand with way more chips than I did. And, excuse me, if I would have made that call, it's all going in on the turn, regardless. I mean, I would have ended up having like 7 big blinds left. I mean, obviously I'm going to get it all in with the pot like that. So I thought about it for a while, and then he made a comment to me, and I didn't hear what he said. And I had this ear of my headphones on, and he made a comment, and I pulled my head on. I said, well, what did you say? And he said, nothing, I'll tell you later. And so that made me feel a little weird. And so I ended up mucking, and he said that when I checked my cards the second time, I guess he was glancing in that direction, and he saw my hand. And so he made a comment, saying, be careful with your hole cards. So he thought he saw a 5. So he was really confident. He told me he ended up having pocket kings. I don't know if he really did or not, but whatever. I ended up getting rid of that hand and proceeded to have one other hand that I called down that just really hurt me. And I went from 9,000 chips to 2,600 chips in the span of 3 hands. And it wasn't even that they were bad plays as much as it was like, I could see maybe not getting involved with the 6s in that hand, but based on our previous history, in my mind there was reason. I could see maybe not shooting that continuation or that taking the bet away from him, but in the same sense, I had to see where I was at. So we go to break, come back from break, and they start getting ready to break our table. And I make a couple pretty good plays. I have one hand where I have pocket 3s, play it low ball or slow. Play it small ball, flop comes up ace-3 ace, get one bet out of seat 8, at which point when I call, the flush card comes, then another flush card comes, so I don't get any more action out of that. He said he had a pair, but whatever, why couldn't he have had an ace? Could have doubled up. So I end up building my stack up to about 3,600. Then they break our table. So we go to a new table, and when I sit down, now this table is stacked. Like, every single person at the table, except maybe 3, has at least 10K. And 2 or 3 of the people have probably 20K. And I'm coming in there with 36. So I'm thinking I got to make something happen pretty quick. Second hand in, I pick up ace-10. I'm going to play it. I was already planning on, making a raise and seeing what happens. Except the guy to my right ends up throwing in a huge raise. And then that made my ace-10 shrink pretty quick. So I end up mucking. 2 hands later, I pick up ace-queen off. I'm under the gun. So I'm figuring, I'm short stacked, but I still have, an M of like 13 at this point, 14, because blinds are 100, 200. So I'm figuring I've still got, or maybe I was less than that. My M was about like 8 to 10, actually. So I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna make a big raise here, hopefully take it down, and just show I'm not going to be pushed around, in my best Teddy KGB voice, and we'll go from there. So I raise, blinds were 1-2. I make it 8 1/4. So pretty big raise. And like I said, I started the hand with probably like 3,600. Guy directly next to me, who's sitting pretty well in chips, raises it up to 1825. Adds on a grand to it. So essentially, if I call that and then see what hits on the flop, I'm going to be pretty much all in, regardless, because I'm going to already have so much of my stack in there. And that's not true. I wasn't at 36. I was at like 29 at that point, because I dropped a couple hands and I played blinds and antes. Just blinds, no antes. So I end up deciding, let's go and all you can eat. And I know I'm going to be gambling, but I'm hoping he has pocket jacks or something. So I push it all in. He insta calls. He has ace king. I have ace queen. And I did not hit my 3-outer. Nor did I get super lucky and even chop the pot with like a wheel draw on the flop or something. But it was what it was. It was another day of getting a little overly aggressive. But I kind of had to in a way. I've been beating myself up through all the shots of Patron last night at the Spearmint Rhino. Shout out to Spearmint Rhino. Big shout out to Spearmint Rhino. I'll do it right. Anyway. But I've been beating myself up over it. I've been fighting, should I have done it this way? Should I not? Been working with Bill through it. And at the end of the day, I'm happy with how I played. There were a couple spots that I could have done something different. Those eights versus the ace king, what are you going to do? I made the right read. I made the right call. I made the right play. And I got unlucky. And sadly, I did not have any luck on my side this weekend. And that sucks, but sometimes that's just how it is. So, overall, it's been a great 3 days of poker. It's been the most expensive 3 days of poker of my life. I'm going to have to go sell some of my gun collection to cover mortgage next month. Not really. But I am going to have to sell a couple of them just to get my bankroll back where it needs to be. So if anybody's looking to buy some military-style rifles or pistols, holla at your boy. If you're an Arizona resident, we can get that. No issue. But anyway, just want to do a quick video. We spent the entire day just chilling in the hotel room because we didn't get in until 8 in the morning. So I'm going to watch a movie and then I'm going to go back out and try to probably play a little cash and